let's get podding.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
should I put my 2 pence in first?
Please do,
about
mate.
the game yesterday.
Yeah.
I watched the game. I thought Liverpool done okay. I don't think they were great, but I think they were, pretty solid. Although they had chances, Brighton had chances, but I thought Liverpool held themselves together well, and I thought Ekateki was very good, very effective. I still think they've got holes in the defence and the midfield, but I think we've been talking about that for a long time. But yeah,
I don't think it's
I thought they were...
it's Hole. It's Kanate, isn't it? Let's be honest. He is just a huge gaping fucking chasm of a hole, that man, at the moment.
Carry on, Billy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, sorry, it's just, I thought Ekateki took his goals well, and Mo, I was glad he got on, Salah. I still would have liked the apology, I'll be honest with you, but I think his slot done okay. I think there's going to be things to be sorted out there yet, and probably over the next couple of weeks, maybe 6 weeks, it'll get sorted out. But and I was quite impressed, surprisingly, by Curtis Jones, who I thought had a decent game as well. I'm not his biggest fan. Everyone knows that. I'm not his biggest fan.
Agree.
But I thought he done well and he worked hard. But yeah, I thought Liverpool done okay. People are saying there was so, but you get games like that, and I thought it was a decent performance without being great. They were decent.
I don't know what game you were watching, Billy.
I'm with Billy, actually. I got to be honest. Don't think we were great, not by any means, but I think Brighton came to press us and push us out of our comfort zone. Stop us just rolling it around at the back, and they did so. But we were just better at playing the press. When we actually played the press most of the time, and we're just better at it than they are. We're better players, so we beat them. That's how it seemed to me.
I think you guys.
Were you not that impressed, Abed? No.
I think you both have drunk the Kool-Aid. They had 11 shots in our penalty area, 4 gilt-edged chances. If one of them had gone in, I'm not sure what the score would have been. We set up not to lose the game with 5 midfielders at home to Brighton. This diamond that he's playing, obviously, for me, it smells of a lack of confidence. It's that we took the lead early on, but we were dire for 26 minutes until Salah came on.
We didn't.
Sorry, not the diamond, but they played 5 midfield.
Yeah.
5 midfielders. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
And we were rubbish for 25 minutes, and it took, unfortunately, a uncharacteristic injury to Joe Gomez, and until Salah came on, we were boring, to say the least. We're at home to Brighton. Where are those days gone where we were exhilarating to watch, or maybe not even exhilarating? We were good to watch, easy on the eye, and our defense was impenetrable. Where are those days gone? I mean, listen, I'm harking back to the Halcyon days, but this is what I've grown up with. This is what we had under Klopp, and this is what we had under in the first season of Slot. Where's it all gone? I mean, Salah came on immediately made a difference with his penetration, his thrusting, and his teamwork. He passed the ball. He passed it when he was meant to pass it. He made
Times
a
when he should have
massive
taken a
difference.
shot.
Exactly, he made a massive difference. It's in the his first touch. He could have had an assist. McAllister inexplicably passed it to Ekatike. Why didn't he just shoot?
McAllister was absolutely fucking abysmal again.
Again.
Yeah, he was truly
Do you know what though?
horrendous.
I think what you said before is more pertinent than anything. the confidence isn't there.
Yeah.
I still think that they've done all right, but I think that they've got a massive drop in confidence, and that's what's letting Liverpool down. They're still making the moves, but they're leaving too many gaps, especially in midfield. And as you pointed out, McAllister was absolutely rubbish. But I still think that there's a good side there. I really do. I'm not sure whether Klopp's getting the best out of them. I'm not sure whether Klopp's the answer because
Klopp. I think he's gone now, Bill.
Slot, I mean, sorry. Is the answer, because they're not playing like they can do, and that's only down to the manager. It can only be down to the manager because they're good players. You've got a lot of good players there. And I'll say the main thing for me is confidence. They lack confidence. And when they get that back, I think he'll be a force again. I really do.
I think you're right, Billy. The team yesterday was set up not to lose, and that is a lack of confidence. And that's been built up over the last few games where we lost, I don't know, we had a record, we lost 12 out of 15. I think you're bang on the money there. There's no confidence. He set up that team not to lose yesterday. We were lucky not to draw at minimum because they had, that chance at the far post when he slid in, and I think he hit the post when he was a yard or two out.
Liverpool had more chances as well, though. So,
give me the chances that they had. We were playing on the counter, Tristan. Give me chances that we. Give me
the McAllister one we just mentioned it, and there was a few other chances Salah had to play players in and stuff.
We had
there were
our
easy balls,
but our chances came at the end, near in the latter part of the game when all the substitutions were made and we were 2-0 up. We were playing on the counter. It's just not. It's not Liverpool, and I understand, Billy, Tris. I understand your point where we can't play like that anymore at the moment. Sorry, because there's a lack of confidence. But there's enough there There's enough, like you said, Billy. There's enough decent footballers there. Why isn't he playing Chiesa? Chiesa came on, and he was like, he was full of energy. There's no fitness issues there anymore.
My worry is
there's got to be a reason why he's not playing Chiesa.
He doesn't like
there has got to be a reason.
He didn't want him, and he doesn't like what he does. He doesn't pass the ball around slowly. He wants to charge forwards, and he wants to, make things happen. And Slot wants to pass the ball, keep possession, and that. It's not the Chiesa way. You look at him; he's always taking chances on the ball, which it's not what Slot wants to do. But I think the biggest problem we've got is lack of fitness. You could see them towards the end of the game. They were absolutely out on their feet. There was players dropping like flies with injuries, and they were all soft tissue injuries and cramping up and stuff. And you're thinking this shouldn't be happening in 90 minutes of a game. If it's
do you think it's down to recruitment? Right, you've recruited 5 of these great players. And they are great players as well, by the way. They're really, really skillful players you've got in. But they don't seem to fit the system that he wants to play. And that is a problem. That is a problem for me.
I think the problem is that he's not. His system is the issue then. Because if you sign the players, you've got to find a way to suit your system to your players you've got, not suit the players to force the players into play the system.
Can I ask you who decided to pick these players? Is it
fantastic question, Billy? Great question.
What they did is at the end of the season, Hughes and that sat down. Hughes, the recruitment team in general, Slot and the coaching team all sat down to discuss what they'd need in the following season. They felt the biggest problem they were going to face was a low block. Sides were just going to sit in because that was happening a lot where teams were just sitting in, and Liverpool had all the possession but couldn't break them down very easily. Wirtz was Wirtz type was targeted as a player that could break down those low blocks. Frimpong and Kirkez were seen as other options because they could charge forwards and cause, and create space by getting out wide. You know what I mean? Slot doesn't seem to agree with that, though. He doesn't want to play that way. But that's the way
because he's changed the tactics from last season. That's why.
But that's the but what I'm saying is when they've sat down and this is what was decided, they're going to be facing low blocks, and they bought players to deal with low. Obviously, they had to buy strikers because we had no strikers. We were absolutely, we were losing all the strikers. Slot didn't want who we had, and we had to get new strikers in to replace them. There was no Anderson, but we would have had Jota, and that would have been it. Otherwise, as it turned out, we ended up without Jota as well, sadly. So we had to buy strikers. So those two, there's no, that the thing was Isaac was the one Slot wanted, 100%. That was his chosen. That was who he saw was the ideal man to break things down. Ekitike was chosen by the recruitment team and that as the young up and coming player who could fill in when Isaac couldn't play and could also play wide. You know what I mean? Could offer a bit more or deeper alongside him. So there's so for Virts, two strikers, the two fullback, like I said, they were to get forward, and obviously we needed centre backs desperately. So we bought one. We tried to buy three. Was the plan, and we ended up with just one. Obviously, one broke down at the end. That was the agreed. For me, I think the mistake was we should have bought and Hughes should have overruled Slot and should make him play one as a midfielder with bite, because I think that's what we miss in 90% of games. We get overrun in midfield because we haven't got anyone in there to put their foot in. Gravenberg can do it to a degree, but he's not got enough bite about him to actually be a proper destroyer in there, and we need one. And Slot doesn't want to play with one. You've seen what he does. He brings on Endo for 2 minutes at the end of games when you've already got, when it's already won, to see it out, and that's just pointless. It's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like, but that's for me. The what should have happened should be Hughes should be overriding it overriding his decisions and saying, look, you've got these players, make use of them. If you can't find a system that suits them, we're going to have to find someone who can. It's that simple, isn't it? You ask for players to break down a low block.
I can see what you're saying.
Sort it out. Put the system to suit these players.
I can't find any fault in what you're saying. The only thing is, where does it stop? Where? Who makes the decision that you're not playing good enough to win matches? So, what did he do? Did he get rid of the Slot? Is that what they do?
I think Billy, you make a very, very pertinent point here about the recruitment. I think what we know, what the positive thing out of all this crazy stupidity and this awful summer transfer, is now we know what we do need, right? So that's the positive going forward, right? Again, I think we touched upon it. That's a great question you asked, by the way, Billy. I'm glad you did, because now we know that somebody like, hopefully, Semeneo's coming in January. He will make a massive difference. Not only does he work hard, he provides thrust, pace, penetration, guile, and goals. So either flank. I was under the impression he plays more on the right, but you guys are saying he can play left as well.
He's played equally throughout his career, all three forward positions.
Perfect. Because lo and behold, Gakpo doesn't play 2 games. We win 2 games in a week. So he can play. He can take. No, I'm serious. He can take the left-sided position, and then Salah, when he's not here for him, can play the right. I'd be more than happy with that. Let's see what they can do.
Or Chiesa on the left and him on the right.
Chiesa on the left and Semenyo on the right. Chiesa deserves his chance. He was full of energy yesterday when he came on. And listen, one point I do want to make, lads, is about Isaac. We need to talk about him, right?
Yes.
That break at the end of the game when Salah blasted it over the net from Chiesa's pass. On the edge of the box was Salah, Chiesa, and Isaac, right? Chiesa and Salah were pelting towards the Brighton penalty box, the other side of the pitch, and Isaac was with him, and he just gave up 10, 15 yards into his run. I'm not sure why. What is that about? Is it? You tell me. I don't know. Is that
Can't
Do you
be
just?
think it's
tired.
attitude yourself? Do you think it's attitude, Abed?
I hope not, Billy. I really do hope not, because he seems like a really good professional. You know, he seems like a good guy. I hope it's not
He's one of them
attitude.
laid back forwards for me who you don't, who aren't all cut and thrust, but when they get the chance, they put them away. But he seems quite slow to me. I know he's not slow, but in the Liverpool side, he looks slow. He looks disinterested, if I can say that. It shouldn't be, and it probably isn't. But at times, he looks very lethargic going forward. And without pace, like when Newcastle, I don't know whether it's because they were set up for him to do that with the wingers they had, but he just looks out of sorts. I don't know whether he's still carrying an injury, but he looks out of sorts. And Ekiteke looks a far better option to me at the moment than
And he's showing pace, I could see.
Than what he is.
What is it then?
To me, I can only assume he must still be carrying an injury that they don't want to talk. They don't want anyone to know about, because otherwise, well, for one, he wouldn't have missed out the game, and he wouldn't have missed the game. He'd have been starting again if he was fully fit. And for second, you just watch him. He's so slow, and his touch is terrible, and that's not Isaac. He's normally a silky smooth footballer. You know what I mean? He's one of those you watch and you think, that's a great touch. You know what I mean? When you watch him, he's normally fantastic. First touch is beautiful. He's a player, he's a proper player. Like, he's a real silky smooth type of player normally. But right now, he just looks like he couldn't trap a bag of cement, for God's sake. He's all over the shop.
Do you think it could be, Tris, that, the way Newcastle play, they play with rapid speed on the wings when I see them play. Everything comes out through the midfield, out to the wingers, fast forward, onto Isaac. It always was, looking for him. Whereas Liverpool playing it at a slower tempo doesn't seem to fit Isaac at all.
He needs space.
Maybe he's looking so lethargic,
He needs space.
I don't think that's an excuse for giving up on a run, though. And I don't think that is what the issue. There was pace there, and there was plenty. All he needed to do was show a bit himself and make a bit of effort. And so the only thing I can think of, the only possible excuse, because he should be fit by now, and if he's not fit, well, I actually think there's a problem with fitness. I was writing the match review, and I pointed out I think there's a real problem with fitness in this Liverpool team anyway. So that could be part of the problem. But for me, I just don't see a player that's anywhere near match fit or match sharp or ready. He just doesn't look ready at all. He looks totally undercooked. He looks so unfit. You just watch him and you're thinking he looks like a player who's so far off his game that he's just not ready for the season to start. He looks like he needs to be on the bench, and that's it for now, for a long period. And Ekiteke should be starting.
I don't even think I'd put him on the bench. He's that far back from the others.
We don't really have any other options, though. We didn't even fill the bench yesterday. Did you not notice?
Yeah.
We had a gap on the bench. We didn't even have a full bench at home. He didn't even call. Why didn't he call up one of the kids? If we got a gap, you're at home. They don't have to frigging travel. Stick one of the kids on the bench. You never know. When you're 2-0 up, like in the last 2 minutes, bring them on to have a chance to get a bit of, a taste of the atmosphere, to give them something to aspire to later. But it just doesn't seem to have any interest in developing youngsters. That's what worries me about Slot.
Why isn't Isaac?
Do you think Ekiteke is going to get frustrated if he looks Liverpool's best centre forward at the moment?
Oh, by sure.
And if Isaac is getting a nod over him, I can see him getting very frustrated.
He already has been.
Unless you can put him on the left and maybe play him on the left instead of Gakpo.
Or the diamond.
When Gakpo's fit. But that's the only place you can go for me is on the left-hand side or centre forward. But if he's not getting picked at centre forward, he's going to lose interest pretty quickly, I'd say, because he's doing his job and then getting left out for someone who isn't at the moment doing as good a job as him. And I think it's going to be very frustrating for him.
Oh, it already has been. We've seen that was what they remember the celebration he got booked for, and Slot had to go with him in the media afterwards. That was what it was all about. Is because he was furious at being dropped for Isaac, who clearly is nowhere near ready. And he was making a point then, and there's still there's been something bubbling under with the squad for a while. Like a lot of players dissatisfied. You got players like Chiesa and Endo. Well, they don't cause problems. They're not happy. You know what I mean? They're not going to be. And then when you add that to Ekitike getting dropped for no reason, etc., it starts to build up. You know what I mean? And it's his handling of the squad. I've not been impressed with. You see what happened with Salah. It bubbles over because nobody's talking to them. Nobody's dealing with it. Nobody's taking it and saying, "Look, lads, yeah, I've dropped you, but I've left you out." But giving them a reason why he's leaving them out. He's not doing that. He's not discussing it with them. I mean, they had clear the air talks afterwards, after he spoke in the media. Shouldn't have taken that. He shouldn't have, it should have been done a long time ago. And I'm hoping he's learning from these things. Because as it's been pointed out, he's never had to face adversity in his career before, Slot, as a coach. Obviously, probably has as a player, I don't know. But as a coach, he's not had to face this kind of run. He's not had adversity to worry about. So this is his first true test of what he's actually made of. So I'm sure he's learning a lot, and hopefully he's learning the right lessons, and he'll improve and we'll get better from it.
What would you like to see, Abid, yourself? The setup of the side. What would your setup be with the players you've got available at the moment?
That's a great question, mate. The thing is, you just don't know because every setup, every formation they use, they're abysmal. And it seems that the more strategic and pragmatic they go, like the last couple of games, we're yielding favourable results. So you can't argue. You can't argue about that formation. It's so boring and putrid to look at, but we're winning games. I wouldn't have Isaac anywhere near the side. I'd just not have him in the squad simply because he's just thinking the place out. And I really like the guy as well. I mean, I think he's from all accounts, he's a nice guy. I just think for his own confidence, for his own sake, we need to leave him out the side for a few weeks, let him get over his injury, whatever it is, and get his confidence back and get some match fitness. Because at the moment, it's just not happening for him. I'd put Chiesa in his position, right? But again, Chiesa doesn't fit that mold. He doesn't fit five midfielders, right? So which he's liking to play. And at least the only, like you said, the only benefits, I think the only positives are Wirtz is beginning to show what he's made of. Jones is press proof. I'm really liking Jones. He played well against Inter Milan in the midweek. I'm not sure you think the same thing, Tristan, but I thought he had a good game.
No, I thought he played well.
Okay, gotcha. I thought you didn't think. Yeah, he's had two very good games, and if that means when we're keeping clean sheets and winning games, then that's the formation. It has to be. But I think it just smacks of desperation because it's a legacy of a lack of confidence, which is a consequence of losing games. So it's got to be pigeon steps. We got to build up. We got to walk slow, walk before we can run. Play this formation before and get some results. Climb up the table. Get some confidence back, and let's go again in January after the January transfer window.
Chris, can I just ask you? Could Jones take the McAllister spot, or isn't he made for that type of game?
Well, yeah, perfect. I don't
really. You
understand
could take the McAllister spot.
Oh, yeah, you're more mobile, and you're what 60? What are you 60? Oh, yeah,
67. Yeah.
I was gonna say a lot more, 667, but I thought no, I'll be nice.
That's how many pounds you are, Tristan.
Oh,
He ain't
yeah.
getting
I knew it was something. And I'm glad you said pounds. It's actually kilos, but we won't go there.
Let's not split hairs, which we haven't got any, but anyway.
Yeah.
So go on, Trish,
Jones would walk him for me ahead of McAllister. McAllister would be my first ahead of Isaac. He'd be the first thrown out. The only reason Canate gets anywhere near the size is because now Gomez is injured. We've not got a lot of choice. But I think I've got to be honest. I'm looking at it, and I think I'd prefer Endo there than Canate. At least he's a bit less rash and just prone to
I
brain
don't
fart.
agree.
You don't know
I don't
what
agree.
you don't know what Canate's doing half the time. He's so erratic. I mean, what he just did that charge forward last time, yesterday, and what was he doing when he was in? He's in the other half. No need to make a challenge. Just get back into position, and he's getting himself booked for no reason whatsoever. There was no danger or anything. He's just an idiot. He really is. And I just can't handle it anymore watching him. Scares the shit out of me. Really does. Every time he's on the ball, you just think he's going to give it away and give them a chance. And every time when they're on the ball, you're worried he's going to give them a chance. But we need to replace. That's the key thing in January. We've got to get a centre back to replace him.
So here's a question for you guys. Billy, Tristan, realistically, not in an ideal world, because in an ideal world, I'd sell 8 of them in January. But realistically, do you think who leaves in January, if anyone? Listen, that includes Salah, which I hope we don't, because we'll get onto that in a minute. But who would you realistically who goes?
I'd say McAllister. I'd have to go. I wouldn't mind him going. I don't think he's got enough.
Realistically, Billy, I know you may think he
realistically,
should go, but realistically,
I'd bring someone in his place.
Yeah.
I'd bring a central midfielder in for McAllister, and I'd go on by Gay. I'd get him. I think he will get him, by the way. I think he'll be a good fit alongside Van Dijk.
Right.
And they'd be the 2 priorities. I still think you need a right back, depending on what system you're going to play.
Right.
I don't think Frimpong's the answer. I don't know what the question is, but I don't think he's the answer.
Right.
And they'd be the 3 players, 3 positions. I'd be looking at if I was Liverpool manager to strengthen more than any other position.
Gotcha, mate. Gotcha. Right, Chris?
Do you think we've got, other than McAllister, I don't see a spare part there to get rid that we could get rid of? I mean, Endo. I mean, he's never fucking playing him, so
maybe he goes
never
anyway. Maybe he goes anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to sell Chiesa or Endo until you get a replacement, somebody in there that would bite.
Yeah,
I don't care. We haven't got anybody like him in the squad, which is just. I mean, we got McConnell and players like that can come back and replace McAllister.
McConnell's already back from Ajax.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got that's what I mean. You got him who can replace McAllister. So I'm saying you just get rid of McAllister. He's not going to make a hole in the squad. I never understood the fascination people had with him just because he won the World Cup. Still doesn't mean he's any good. He's never been good in a deep role ever at any time in his career. He's
more suited to a number 8. Yeah.
And even then, he's not that great anyway, is he? Let's be honest. He's decent, but he's not world class or anything. He's not top class at all at any position.
I thought he was good last season.
He had like 3 good games. He had 1 run of about 3 good games, and the rest of it he was shy. He was awful. I really don't get the fascination. I was watching him and thinking he was terrible, and other people were raving about him. And I'm thinking, what did he do apart from give away? I can't handle this diving either. I detest diving, and he does dive.
I think he's overcompensating for being so poor this season. He starts diving. Yeah,
he did that anyway, though.
Yeah. He's doing it more so now, though.
It's just too much time around Messi.
Yeah, I'm being serious here, and I'm not trying to be dramatic or. I would get rid of Gakpo, McAllister, Konate, because I don't think losing those 3 and I'm being serious, losing those 3 in January would not harm us. In fact, it might benefit us with and replace them, obviously.
Yeah.
And it might benefit. We can't do any worse with those 3. With those 3 getting replaced. I honestly believe that.
Yeah, that, especially Canate has to be replaced. Trouble is, we'd need to buy 2 centre halves then because we've got no cover. Obviously, Willie only out injured, but he's got to be replaced. Has to go as soon as possible. Doesn't matter. Just send him out to an old dog's home or something. You know, send him to the glue factory. Anything. Just get fucking rid. Before I can't handle it.
Haven't Real Madrid signed up a
Upamecano
on a free transfer? Have they got him on a?
Not yet, but it's looking like it'll be done. Yeah, it won't be done. They
Clearly
can't
seen
do
up
it
games
yet.
this
They
season.
can't do it yet because it's not. They have to. It has to be within 6 months of the end of the contract. So they have to wait until the end. So it'll be like the 1st of January before it can be done. I think it is 1st of January. Yeah.
So I would, honestly, I would, and again, it pains me to say this because I think Canate on his day is a formidable defender. I know you guys don't like him much, and he has those brain farts, but when he's on, he's on. But
what's happened to him,
Abby?
What's happened to him this year? You know, he is I've seen him play really good games for Liverpool. What makes the difference now? Is it because he wants away? Is it because of his contract?
No, Billy. No, I think he's.
What's made him fall off a cliff?
I don't think he's got a high footballing IQ. He's a fabulous player when he concentrates, but his concentration, he hasn't got very good concentration. That's what I think it is. He's very lackadaisical in that sense. You know, very laissez-faire, laid back. But when he's on, he's on. But most of the time, he's not. And this season, he's been found wanting. You know, you like him, right, Billy? You think he's a decent player, right?
No, I used to think he was a lot better than what he is now.
Yeah.
But now he has fell off a cliff. I'd say, you know, he's got no confidence whatsoever. I think he's hating Van Dijk's game because Van Dijk is having to cover for him all the time.
Yeah.
I think he's sold the fullbacks down the river. You know, they're not having good games because everyone's looking to cover for Canate, and I think they've got to get rid of him. I think they have.
Yeah, and our fullbacks aren't very good to begin with, so Virgil's having to do probably 3 other players' jobs, so his game's being affected. You know, you get a point. Yeah. Guys, you want to talk about Salah?
Yeah, you can do.
Billy, go for it, mate.
Well, my thing with Salah, right? I really wanted him to apologise for the good of the club, right? He shouldn't have come out and said. For me, this is my point of view. He shouldn't have come out and said that. That gets done at Liverpool Football Club behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And if you've got a problem, it gets done through your player's representative, or through the captain, or you go and see him yourself with your agent. Coming out in the press like that, and I know things get lost in translation, but I think what he done was out of order, and I think he should have apologised. And I think if he'd done that, a lot of this wouldn't have dragged on to what it did. You know, he was frustrated. He wanted to go and play. He wanted to go be fit in the AFCON, game fit. He's been left out for 3 games, come on as a substitute, and then he was substitute again. But he wants the best for Mo Salah, and you can't blame him for that. I'm not blaming him for that. But you've got to then look at the Hughes situation. He's given a contract, a really good contract on, what, 400,000 a week, supposedly. Now, they got slated for not getting money for other players and letting them run the contracts down. Now, if they want to strengthen, they've got to get money for Mo Salah. Now, I'm not saying that it was deliberate what got done, because I don't think it was. But if they want to sell him in the January transfer window, or they leave it till next summer to get money for Salah. They're doing that for the benefits of the club, not Mo Salah. And that's up to Mo Salah then, what he does. Does he want to see his contract out, or does he want to go further afield and pick up a last paycheck? But I think Salah has handled it badly, him and his agents. That's my opinion. It's only my opinion. I think he's handled it badly. And I think Slot has come out of it with a bit more credit than what than Salah has. And the feeling in the city from people who I talk to, I'm on quite a few forums and that, they're all thinking the Salah was in the wrong as well. And that's the feeling I get. But other people have different ideas, and I can see that, he's been a brilliant player, absolutely mega star he's been for Liverpool. And I don't want his legacy tarnished by something like this. I don't think it will massively, but he's been such a good player that it'd be a shame if he went out under the cloud, and it did get to that. I think they should keep him. They should try and keep him to 2 years, even if they lost out money. But if they don't and they get money for him, that's just a business thing. But I would personally keep hold of him. I think he'll still do a job for you, and I'd like to see it all him come out and apologise, say, listen, I was wrong, and everything's been sorted now, and Klopp gets him back in the fold and he starts firing and gives Liverpool that edge that he can give them,
All right. So, Billy, what do you see in your opinion that he did wrong? Because in my opinion, the only thing he did wrong, I don't mind anything he did apart from when he said, I deserve a place in the side currently because on the back of what I've done for this club and how I've played in for 8 years, paraphrasing, but et cetera, et cetera. For me, that's the only thing he did wrong, because if like what he said, people are conspiring to get rid of him on the back of him signing a 2-year contract, then I can appreciate his chagrin and his animosity. So for me, that's all he did wrong. What about, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, the way he come across with the interview, it come across to me and a lot of the people, my peers and the lads I associate with, that he was basically saying, I'm too good to be dropped. Other people should be dropped. And he dropped the manager in it. He like, as though the manager and the club were trying to get rid of him. And it come across, poor me. And to be perfectly honest, he hasn't deserved this place in the side for a good few months now. He's been very poor. He has been very poor by his own high standards, by the way.
Agreed.
But he's been very poor. And people were asking for him to be dropped. And he should have been dropped. And I thought Slot was totally within his right to drop a person who wasn't playing. Don't get me wrong, Gakpo could have been one of them. Other players could have been, Konate and all that. But what he had was a problem. And what he decided to do with it, Slot, was drop Salah, which was perfectly justifiable for me. He should have been dropped. And then he come out with like the bombshell that he should have been picked for what he's done for the club. What he's done for the club in the past doesn't count for nothing. It's tomorrow's fish and chip paper. That's all it is.
Can I just...
And that was my problem with the way Salah come out. He come across as a bit arrogant, and I don't think he's that type of player, a person rather. And it just looked bad on him. It made him look something that he's not, which is a bit of a brat at the time. And I thought it really detracted from my personal perception of Mo Salah, which is that he's a good, honest, decent guy.
Right.
And it made him look bad. That was my problem with the interview he gave.
I can see that. Tristan?
Yeah,
What do you think, mate?
can I just say something about what you said? I think there's a bit of revisionism going on about whether he should have been dropped or not. He should have been dropped months ago, but his form had just started to pick up. He'd shown signs of improving. Then he got dumped. And I think that is part of the frustration, is that he was the only one that was actually starting to look better. But other players were starting to look worse and carried on picking them. But he drops the one that's actually starting to improve his form. He's just starting to play himself into form, and he gets dumped. And I think that was a big part of the frustration. And there's a lot of revisionism, people saying about they wanted him out. Yes, they'd wanted him out a while before, but it was starting to turn. People were saying, yeah, now he's starting to look better and that, and he was still showing signs of playing himself back into form. And I think people are forgetting that. They're just remembering that like he'd been playing badly for the few months before that, and it was just the last few games he'd actually started to look like the old Salah again and really start to impact games again, and then he got dropped. So I think that people need to
I
remember.
personally never seen that. If I'm
Oh, he
honest, Chris,
definitely
I never
did.
seen that. Mate.
Definitely did.
I think
I
think he
agree.
was
I
still
agree,
poor,
Billy. I agree.
and by his
No,
by his own standards, he was very, very poor. But he was still poor and still deserved to be
he
dropped
was
for me.
starting to show
But
good signs.
it's all about personal opinions, what you see in a player. But for me, he hasn't looked on it for a long while, but
He's
you
also
tell you see players.
Sorry, Billy, so to interject. Before I forget, I do apologise for interjecting. I think he's also suffering from Trent not being there. They had an absolute telepathic understanding, right?
I can buy that, yeah.
Oh, that was a massive thing. You only had to see, look at last night. He looked really good with Szoboszlai behind him.
Yeah.
Because he actually plays the passes. Yeah, he sees them
Intelligent
early enough.
footballers.
He sees it early enough, which Trent also did. He saw the pass. Playing beyond, Bradley doesn't see the pass. Frimpong doesn't know the game well enough yet. Doesn't know Salah's game well enough to see the pass. Bradley should do, but he's not an intelligent footballer. I like Bradley a lot, but he's not an intelligent footballer, and he's not got a good passing range or crossing range. He's not going to play the ball Salah's looking for. The only player who really does in that team is Szoboszlai. Gravenberg isn't good enough passer. I like him a lot, but he's not a great passer. It's his weakness. His passing is it's loose, to say the least. He often puts the ball 10 yards away from where he's aiming it. And, that is an issue. When you're looking for someone to play him in, it needs to be fairly close. I mean, again, yesterday, Virgil put it on put it on him, put it in good places for him, and he absolutely battered their fullback at times. Who was it playing left back for them? Was it Weaver playing left back for them? And it absolutely hammered him a few times. He was just holding him off at will. And
the old magic was back.
Yeah. But I'd see
turning him inside out.
That's
what I think the answer is, in January, we buy Sadio Mane, Bobby Firmino, Gini Wijnaldum, James Milner, Luis Diaz, and put the old band back again, and then we're cooking.
Henderson, he's playing well.
Yeah, Hendo, yeah.
Oh, it's good tonight as well. Did you see it?
Great. Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, lovely to see. And he did the Jota celebration.
Oh, fantastic.
When he scored. So it was
nice.
Yeah,
it was good, that, yeah.
So, I mean, we have a Salah conundrum. I think it's still 50-50 whether he stays or go in January even,
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, I really do. And I just think that would be, because that video he posted up on his Instagram account last night, him clapping the clock, listen, it's conceivable he goes in January. He's a proud man. This has been this is hurtful to him, He's a sensitive, proud man. I mean, if he goes, who can blame him? I hate to see it. What do you guys think? Do you think he stays or goes? Does he Does he stay for 2 years? Does he go at the end of the season? My wish is he goes at the end of the season. We give him the fabulous send off that he deserves, a legend deserves, and then wish him luck for his future. Get some money for him while we can, right?
That's a fair point, yeah.
That for me would be an ideal scenario. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think,
Chris?
well, he's got the Saudi offer on the table. He's not interested in. Still not interested in going there. He doesn't want to leave Liverpool. So I don't know I don't know who else could make him an offer that he'd be interested in. To be honest, that's the issue here.
MLS? No, would he go MLS?
Would you? I don't know. I mean, it's not really the right time, isn't it? You know, to be going over there as a Muslim and an Egyptian. Oh,
Swap a deal for Elise and Salah. Salah goes to Bayern and Elise comes to Liverpool. I don't know.
I hope not. I don't think Elise is good enough.
Oh, I think he's playing.
Yeah, but I'm not being funny. I could look good in the Bundesliga. They're not. It's not a good league. It's just not a good league. And he's not Wirtz level playing. And Wirtz struggled to adjust. He wasn't that great when he was in Crystal Palace.
Yeah, and he won't need adjustment.
He wasn't very good there. He wasn't great there. I don't understand the fascination with him. Why people rave about him. I don't see it in him.
I think he's
he's better than Eze. I think he's a better player than Eze was. But I don't think he's a great player by any means whatsoever. And I wouldn't see him as any kind of replacement for Salah. I'd be really disappointed if that was who we brought in to replace Salah. Because it's a massive downgrade in quality and no improvement in work ethic. Go on, Sally.
To be honest with you, I think the replacement for Salah is Semenyo, and we'll get somebody for the left, in my opinion. I friggin' hope so anyway, because that would mean Gakpo would be still at the club.
Can I ask you, lads, where do you think this leaves Slot? Right. I think he's come out of it okay, right? I think he's come out of the situation okay. He's held himself with dignity, but I still don't think he's a great coach. That's my own personal opinion. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he inherited a really good side. The Klopp left, he's done well to see you through the season, but the way things have gone and the type of football you're playing, I'm not sure whether he's the best choice. But if he's not, who would you take instead? Would you take Alonso?
Chris?
I've said I like Areola. I like the football he plays. Alonso would be another I think I'd be happy with. He plays good, exciting football, attacking football. He likes them high press, high work rate. It's the kind of things you want from your team, really. They work hard and they try and attack. What more can you ask, really? And that's those two. The only other one I could see is Hunes, maybe from Stuttgart. Off the top of my head. Other than that, I don't really. There's not a lot of options out there that stand out, and I think that was the problem when we were looking to replace Klopp in the first place. And that's why he ended up staying an extra, signing a new deal when he was wanting to actually leave then because his health was suffering and that. And there just isn't there just isn't the options out there. And this
Would
is
you
the
be
problem.
happy to stay with Slot, Tris? Would you be happy to stay with Slot? Or would it depend on how things go over the next 6-8 weeks?
It depends on how it goes for me because I do not like the football he wants to play, the slow, tedious, laborious passing around at the back, and the lack of fitness he's allowed creep into the players, which is a real problem for me. I want to see them working hard. First and foremost, if you outwork the opposition, you've got a chance. Doesn't matter if you're having a bad game. If you're having a bad game and you're not working hard, you're going to get stuffed. It doesn't matter who you're playing against; they're going to beat you because you've not got hard work. Whereas if you've got hard work as the basis of your team, then that can make up for days when you're just not at it. You can get away with it because you outwork the opposition and you stop them from being able to play well. It can make up for it. I want I want someone who emphasises that has them working hard and challenging, fighting for every ball. And I don't see that under Slot. So I don't. I don't really want to I don't like the idea of changing managers regularly. I'd rather we had the same one and he kept winning things with us. But I just don't see in Slot a coach that's going to keep on winning his trophies if he's going to continue with down this route of playing the slow, laborious passing around. If he can't learn the lesson that you need to have a bit more energy and play at a higher pace, then I think we're going to have to replace him. It is that simple.
I do think he was spoilt a bit with Klopp, though, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
That side that he had them play when you had them playing, honest to God, they were fantastic to watch. They never give people a minute on the ball. They defended from the front, and they won back every ball that come right back at them. And it was such a joy to watch, wasn't it? And I'm an Evertonian, and I used to love watching Klopp teams, I must admit. They had the energy, they had the vim. They were just a great side to watch, and I miss that. I'd miss it more if I was a Liverpool supporter, but I do miss it for the type of exciting football that you want to turn your telly on and watch these players play.
We look at Wirtz, and he's absolutely made to measure for a Klopp side. I mean, most of the games he's been pressing on his own, but he's the only one doing any pressing, chasing around. You're thinking, that's what I want to see from all of the team, is the way he plays. I just don't see that in what we've got at the moment.
Where do you see the manager's future?
Mate, unfortunately, I think what's happened, I think what's going to happen is we've got Slot till the end of the season, come what may, unless there's a massive calamity. And then I think somebody like Gerrard steps in for 10, 15 games. I think we've got him till the end of the season. And unless he wins the Champions League, I think he goes at the end of the season. That's my opinion. Okay. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I'm going to retract some of my earlier statements. Listen, like Trish said, solidity is the name of the game. If he's winning, and irrespective of the football we're playing, if he's winning, keep him till the end of the season. There's no point changing him. And then I think, unless he wins the Champions League, I think he's going to get his marching orders. And I believe, I wholeheartedly believe Alonso comes in, and because by all accounts, that's the man they want. Because I think his days are numbered at Madrid. And I even think, even if he wins the Scudetto, the league, Premier, the Spanish league, he'll get fired anyway. Yeah, I've got a very good friend in Madrid who sports them, and he says he can't handle egos. He plays different tactics every game. There's no blueprint, and he said he's out of his depth. He just can't handle all the prima donnas out there. So I think Liverpool will be made for him.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else to add?
No, I don't think I can think of anything. No, that's it for this week, I think.
All right, yeah. I think it's a good point. To leave it there.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see you again, Abid, and
you too, my friend.
Hopefully we'll be doing it a bit more often, and you, Trish.
Yeah, that's the plan, mate.
Yeah, and it's been good to talk and iron out a few things, sort Liverpool's problems out.
Yeah,
I think if they got me in as interim, I could do a decent job for them.
Well, I did hear you were interiming.
He didn't, did he?
Oh, that's it. That had to be done.
I shall see you next time.
Yeah.
And thanks very much. And, I shall see you next time.
Thanks very much, Bill.
Thanks a lot. Bye, boys.
Thanks for anyone that's actually been watching this. Oh, guys, please stop. Oh, God, I hope he had trousers on then. I was just thinking, oh, shit. I just had this vision of him standing up and there's no trousers. It's just like, oh.
It was a cold night there anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to see anything. No need to worry. Not
Oh,
unless
mate.
it's got a high magnification.
You and your dark, twisted, macabre mind. On that note, I'll see you later, mate. Yeah.
Take care, mate. Good night.
Take care, mate. See you next time. Bye-bye.